Hello and welcome to the Let's Do Video podcast. My name is David Maldo and I'm excited about this. I'm thinking that 5 minutes seemed really long. We should make that 2 minutes because I couldn't wait to get started. Today we have a special guest and we're going to see something. I've been told we're going to see the post-pandemic social distancing meeting room experience. So let's introduce our guest, Herald Williams and his team. And Herald, before I even let you introduce yourself, I gotta say, I'm kind of disappointed. If this is the post-pandemic experience, I don't like it. I'm glad to see that you're social distancing. You're an old friend, and I want you to be safe. But wow, are you tiny at the end of the room, and the rest of your team is all big. And please tell me you have something better for me.
Well, David, we certainly do. So my name's Herald Williams. This is Emma. She's a summer intern. This is Jenny. And what we're going to do is show you a very compelling new camera technology for video conferencing. So I thought what I would try to do is just grab the audience with a couple of switches back and forth. In this room, we have two cameras set up at their appropriate locations in front of a 55-inch display. And what you're seeing now is a competitor's camera image capture of this huddle space. It could be any camera in the marketplace, frankly, that it has a wide field of view, 120 degrees or so. And this is the image that all cameras capture in this type of a closed space.
Yeah, this is what I'm used to seeing. This is my bowling alley meeting room view.
Exactly. So although this table is only 6 feet 9 inches long, and Jenny and Emma are sitting only 3 feet from the table actually appears from a perception standpoint that it's 12 to 13 feet long, which is an inherent image capture problem. So I'm just going to switch from this camera to our S-Huddle camera, and you will see the stark difference in people image capture.
Okay, so now you guys are all sitting next to each other, like we're across the table from each other.
That's exactly right. So
how'd you get up and move your chair so quickly? I blinked and you guys moved. What happened there?
Yeah, right. So no, what we're doing is essentially remapping the image, the pixels, so that we flatten the capture and eliminate the bowling alley effect that you see in this space. Today we are, so this is the competition. Let me switch back and then kind of start a quick presentation.
Yeah, and before, I didn't really give you a chance because I wanted to have that wow moment. I wanted to see this really quickly. But before we jump in, you're not new to the industry. Do you want to kind of introduce yourself and your team? I think when I see this across the table telepresence view, I kind of think of you. So maybe you could explain to our viewers why that is.
Okay, sure. So I've been in this industry for some 25 years. I cut my teeth back in the 90s developing the first immersive telepresence system with a company called Telesuite Corporation. That company was sold to Polycom in 2007, and my product there became the Polycom RPX. So I've been at this a long time, trying to do a better image capture and create a much more pleasant and immersive experience for the end user. So that's been my mantra for many years. These products that we're now introducing is sort of a culmination of past technology, newer processing, and really tuned perfectly for Zoom and many other cloud services. So yeah, that's my background. So
So wait, so
Today,
now it's all clicking for me because you've always been the guy that says the way we meet in person is we sit across the table from each other, and the way we should meet in video is it should feel like we're sitting across the table from each other. But in these little huddle rooms, we can't have those old telepresence systems you designed. So this is your way of giving us that across the table experience in an affordable way and in a way that fits in these smaller rooms.
exactly. So
Now it all comes together.
yeah, we've taken the technology and we've reduced it into two uh, camera systems. Well, cameras, not systems, because these are freestanding cameras that are USB, plugs right into the PC as everyone else's cameras in the space, and it gives you this very compelling experience. So today we're essentially currently we're introducing two cameras to the market. One camera is named our D Room product, which mounts between dual displays in conference rooms. Uh, that uh, that camera um is for rooms with, as I said, dual displays and conference tables that seat from 7 to about 13 people. Uh, Go ahead.
I like how it's in the middle of the screen here because I'm a big eye contact guy. I'm always staring at the camera to trick eye contact, and everyone else is always looking up and looking down because the cameras are always all the way at the top and the bottom. But you have it in between the two monitors here, so it's going to be kind of at eye level. I think that's pretty neat.
Exactly, and the camera really disappears against the bezels. People look at this and they go, "Well, where is the camera?" So the second product we're introducing is our S-Huddle space or camera for the space that you're looking at now. So this is a camera that mounts at the bottom of the bezel on a single screen, but it has a very narrow 7-inch high riser that is very unobtrusive, as you can see in that picture. And that allows us to lower the screen height from the typical 44 inches that is typical for a camera below the screen. And it gives us a much, much better eye line for vertical capture, especially when you have this close seating arrangement. So
Yeah, really quick, I just want to say I think that's a really great compromise because I've always said what I really want is a camera right in the middle of the screen, but you can't put a big camera in the middle of the screen because it'll block what you're trying to see. So this is not going to really block my view, but obviously that's going to really improve eye contact. So I wonder why more people aren't doing this. I like that. I like that. And your eye contact in this meeting has been good. I guess that's why you're not cheating like I'm doing. I'm looking at a camera right now. No one should have to do that.
yeah, we'll show you in a second the stark difference between Eyeline and the difference. And as I mentioned, as I said, 7 inches is makes a world of difference in vertical eye line. So let me go back to. So let's talk about that eye line. So right now, we're the camera that is capturing us now. Is set at a height that is where the display is 44 inches above the floor, and the camera's mounted below. We are all looking at the center of a 55-inch display. Now, you'll notice that Jenny and Emma are looking almost up at the ceiling, but they're literally looking at the center of a display that's 44 inches high, which is about the minimum that you can mount a camera or a screen when the camera is below. And so that is about 21 degrees vertical eye line. Now, at that point, you are really, you can end up with neck problems if you're sitting in a meeting for an hour or two. Let me now switch back to our S-Huddle camera. Now we are looking at a 55-inch display at the center, but it's only the display's only mounted 36 inches high. So that is the major difference from a vertical eyeline. As we mentioned, then we also equalize facial scale on all the participants, so we don't have the giant person in the front that is distorted and the small head in the back. So just to give you a point of reference, the head size of the front person, Jenny and Emma, is over 6 times larger than my head. So it gives you this very distorted feel within the capture. Also,
you know what it reminds me of? It reminds me of Alice in Wonderland. It looks like Jenny and Emma are going to reach out and grab your head. It looks like you're tiny. You know, it looks like they're giants and you're tiny. I'm waiting for them to reach out and some sort of creepy Alice in Wonderland thing going on. And this is the way every meeting is. Every meeting we accept this distorted, Alice in Wonderland Disney experience. I really think in real life, people are about the same size. We don't have tiny people. So why do we accept this in meetings? Oops. Let me go to this view here.
Exactly. Yeah. So and then in addition, if you look at the size of my head in this camera and look at it now, I'm about 4.5 times larger in scale. So it gets me in the meeting. It makes us all feel like we're equal. And of course, oftentimes the back position is the power position, we call it, where it could be the manager, the CEO, who knows. So
that's where the boss sits.
Yeah, that's where the boss sits. Yeah. So I think that we can move forward with any more questions. Oh, by the way, each camera is $1,199 each, same price each, and they're both available on pre-order. Although for the D room camera, we have samples for testing. So that's kind of my presentation, David.
I'm kind of surprised at that, because when I think about a telepresence experience and across the desk experience, historically it was premium. I mean, they were literally $250,000 machines at one point, or $100,000 machines, and to get this sort of experience with a special camera that has special programming to do this magic, I thought you were going to tell me it's a $15,000 camera, but you're saying it's the same price as every other camera on the market. It's about $1,000.
Exactly. Yes.
That I was not expecting. I forgot to ask when, obviously we chatted before we went live here, and I forgot to ask you that before. That is really a surprise for me. So we can have this experience without having to pay premium for a premium experience.
Exactly. And also, although this table seats 5, we're sitting here now recognizing social distancing, of course. And so every other seat is blank. But if you said, well, I mentioned that we can seat up to 7 people. Well, that's a 9-foot table. But if I push back 2.5 feet to, I can't quite go 2.5, but you can see that I'm still in the game. So if this was a 7-seat table, then we still have this compelling image capture and facial size equalization.
And I know that because I've known you for a long time, that you created this well before the pandemic. The goal was to improve the bowling alley meeting room experience and have people in all 5 of those chairs looking like they're sitting across the table as opposed to down the row. But I think this might really be the way we need to do social distancing, because we are going to go back to the office, and even if we get vaccinated and we figure this whole thing out, I've changed from this. I really don't want to be elbow to elbow with people anymore. You know, I really don't want to be that close anymore. I've been affected by this. I want to keep the 6 feet thing going, even if I'm not told to keep the 6 feet going. And walking into a room where everyone's huddling, I think the word huddle might have to have a new meaning. We might have to virtually huddle the way you're doing now. I'm not going to be comfortable with it. I want a seat in between me. And it just so happens that what you came up with solves that. You have a seat in between you, and I can see everyone. So inadvertently, I think you might have solved our problem of how we're going to do post-pandemic meetings. But one quick question. It how does the camera connect to our normal systems? Is it just like any other camera? If I have a typical Zoom room, Blue Jeans room, whatever room, and I'm running off some a Nook or a laptop or a Kodak or whatever it is, just instead of whatever camera, I just use this camera?
Exactly. We put a lot of work into making this camera as simple as other cameras. In fact, in some ways, it's even more simple. It's simply plug and play USB 3 into your PC, over your cloud service. Then um, one of the good things is that we don't need some of the current tricks that's going on in other cameras, and primarily what's called auto framing, because we're essentially already framed to the maximum or the most minimum field of view possible. So although this camera is capturing 120 degrees, it's capturing me as if it's only 40 degrees. Now, most cameras that actually auto frame, let's say I'm only a single person here and an auto frame camera is going to zoom in on me. Well, it's going to end up being almost exactly what you see here as far as the person in the middle. So we don't need auto framing. Even in our 13-seat room, conference room, auto framing really doesn't work because the back person is too far away to actually do face detection. So no fuss, no muss, plug it in. And there is an alignment requirement, very simple. And let me just point out the one trade-off. Okay, there's always sort of like no free lunch, right? So we're doing this magic, and the fortunate thing is there's only one caveat, and that is the back wall in the space needs to be a plain surface without horizontal lines. So you'll notice on either side, we have these white lines. This is our lab, where you can see that elements on the side walls are perfectly normal. The lines are straight. However, on the back wall, you can see the ceiling line. It is curved. Any horizontal line on the back wall will be curved, slightly curved, bowed. We think that's a modest trade-off. If you don't have a plain back wall, you can install a very simple drapery or vertical shades, and then it will be fine. So definitely wanted to underscore completely the one trade-off that we that we have with our camera.
I think you're being a little too hard on yourself because a lot of these wide field of view, and especially with the super wide field of view cameras that are out now, some of the lines aren't all that straight in any meeting, and the way I'm looking at it's kind of cut up. Oh, I just cut off my hand. It's kind of cut off at the top, so I'm not even really seeing it. And I'd rather have a curved wall than have a tiny, tiny person that I can't see at the back of the room. So if it is a trade-off, I'm okay with it. I actually didn't even notice it till you pointed it out, and now I'm like, oh yeah, you're right. The top wall is curved a little bit, but
the thing that I like to point out is, do you want some distortion? Which is when things aren't exactly right, the cameras provide distortion, right? So do you want distortion on the back wall, or do you want distortion in the people? I mean, it's a kind of a no-brainer if you think about it. So with all other cameras, you get distorted people. There's no way around it. With our cameras, you get a back wall distortion. You eliminate that by a plain wall or a drapery or vertical blinds. Now I've admitted my fault, and we'll move on from that.
I'm sure your marketing team is like, why did he even do that? But that's, I've known you for a long time, and that's the kind of guy you are, and you want to have it all out on the table. And honestly, if that's all you got, I'm really not concerned, because I'm looking at this, and every time you switch back and forth, it's almost like a little bit of a relief when you get back to this view. Because I'm straining to see you in the view, because, there's a reason we're using video and not audio. A lot of our communications, and we've said this so many times, and we've seen the same studies over and over again, is in our faces, in our gestures. And so when you get tiny, when you move to the normal view, I don't just kind of close my eyes and listen to you. I'm straining. I'm trying to see what's going on there. And when you get big again, when you're full size, when you're across the table as you are now, okay, we can just talk now. So it's definitely a dramatic, as you switch back and forth, it's dramatic. So is there anything we haven't covered? We got the price. Where can people learn more if they're interested in finding cameras for themselves? And my friends in the cloud video world, they might be looking for camera partners. I'm sure some of the services out there might be wanting to see how well this works with their service. So where can people find you and learn more?
Yeah, so our website is aurapresence.com. We're just now reconstructing that site, but you'll see a lot of information, and we'll have the new products established on the site within a couple of days. But you can find the contact information there.
Great. All right. I think that's everything. This has been a fun stream. Thank you to you and your team. Boy, they say a picture is worth 1,000 words. I can't imagine trying to explain this to someone over the phone. But as soon as you hit that magic button and switch back and forth, I just got it. So thank you for being here. It's great to see you, and thank you everyone for watching. Please tune in again for the next Let's Do Video podcast.
Thank you.